This baseball free agency has been pretty interesting, to say the least. As a Brewers fan, as a Milwaukee native, missing out on the playoffs was tough. And I knew this offseason was going to be tough because I knew they were going to make trades, and I knew that they were going to try to figure out, they were going to have to move steps backwards to try to figure out what they needed to do in the long run. And unfortunately, things happened. But in the long run, we didn't even spend any money. And honestly, I think we killed free agency regardless. We made underrated moves. Very underrated moves. Of course, some favorites in the past couple years have unfortunately left us, but I guess it is a new era, the Matt Arnold era, and things are about to change. So, of course, on with the show.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What is poppin', y'all? It is your man, Cloudboy Bales. Welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports. Now, of course, today's episode, we're going to be talking about my initial thoughts on Brewers free agency going into what has happened in these last couple weeks. Pretty much, I think the Brewers are done. I don't think they're going to be making any more big main moves, maybe until before the season starts. But I think right now, with where the Brewers are at right now, I think they aren't going to make any. I don't think they're going to make any more moves. Of course, spring training starts in February. We are very close to the next start in the 2023 season. And this is a season that is going to be a new start for the Brewers. After going to the playoffs for 4 straight years, they finally missed out. And of course, from now on, they're going to be looking, how do we rebuild from there? Right now, there's lots of teams that are looking at different alleys, and honestly, anything could happen. So the Brewers really had to make it clear, what were you going to do in free agency? Now, 2024 is obviously the big year because big names like Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, and Willy Adames, Rowdy Tellez are all free agents. So, honestly, it's starting to look like you're going to have to move on from some of these guys in the future. But the thing that they need to do right now is focus on people that can make this team and franchise better. And, honestly, they did make some great moves, very possibly underrated ones. And I think that's what's mostly important. So, without further ado, if you like what you see with my content, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts. And as always, go Brewers. Why not? So let's get down to business. Before major trades were made, one of the Brewers that, of course, unfortunately is no longer on the team is Brent Suter. He was with the team for 7 seasons. Obviously, everybody loved him. They called him the Raptor. Fortunately, we had to cut him for reasons, and Colorado picked him up. So it was an unfortunate blow, but those last 2 seasons, he has not. His last couple outings, he just hasn't been the same. So it really is tough to, see some players not play the same. But good luck to him in Colorado. I really wish him well. Also, most importantly, some other names aren't going to be with the team anymore. Still, some of those guys are free agents. So honestly, anything can happen, but we will see what happens. So, of course, I'm going to go over the major trades that have happened over the past week. So the first one included Hunter Renfroe. Now, Hunter was a guy that started. He was a Gold Glove person. He batted .255, 29 home runs, 72 RBIs, 807 OPS in 125 games this season. It was his first season with the Brewers. He led Major League right fielders with 11 assists and ranked 10th in National League with a 492% slugging percentage. He was going to be eligible for arbitration, but the thing that the Brewers wanted to do was trade him because right now we have so many prospects, outfielder prospects right now. Sal Frelick and Joey Wiemer are likely going to be called up. We already saw Garrett Mitchell be called up. So pretty much Renfroe was probably going to be heading his way out anyways. But you know what? It's a great deal for the Angels. The Angels are going to get a great deal out of this. Obviously, he's a great player. I liked him. I really loved when we got him. I knew it wasn't going to be long term, but it was a great move for what it was. Angels, he's going to help the Angels offensively, and I think that's really more important. The guys that we got in return were Junk, so a couple relief pitchers, Junk, Paguero, and Samaras. I'm not really sound on the names here, but some of these guys are just some relief pitchers or minor league pitchers. So those are guys that could work their way up to the major league system. Possibly, we'll see what happens. But obviously, the Angels won this trade because honestly, I don't think these pitchers are huge contributors now, but maybe down the line they are. It's possible, but anything could possibly happen. You never know. The next big trade that happened was trading Kolten Wong. And this was something that I knew. I said, I'm fine if Kolten Wong leaves. He just had a great first season with the Brewers, and a second season, he just was injured, played terrible defense, wasn't hitting the ball as much until the second half of the season, and just did not contribute at all with the offense. And honestly, this move not just gives us some players back, but it opens a potential path for Bryce Turing, our big name prospect, to finally come up and play in the majors. He has so much potential to be a great. Now he plays shortstop and second base, so this is a guy that you can definitely see coming in the long terms. But this move really provides some of his major league experience. So obviously Kolten Wong, we traded him to the Mariners for outfielders and former All-Star Jesse Winker and infielder Abraham Toro. Kolten Wong, we opted into his final year of his deal, but then I kind of figured it was going to be for a trade, so it's a smart move. But the Brewers, I think, were really wanting to do something. Looking at it, Wong's defense did take a noticeable hit, but I think that was the concern why the Brewers decided to move on from him and not sign him to a contract. I think that was what made more sense. Looking at Winker, he took a step back on offense in 2022. He didn't bat that well, but before that, a lot of people forgot he was a star on the Cincinnati Reds. He was a starter in the All-Star game, if I'm correct. He probably will be playing more designated hitter. This is his final year of team control, so this likely is a guy that could be an unbelievable player this year, an unbelievable trade. We traded him, and he actually has a season. Now, I'm assuming he'll just be with the team for the 1 year, and we move on from him unless unless something happens. But, it's interesting. Another player in this trade, Abraham Toro. He's kind of been a guy that's been bouncing from the majors and the minors. Started with Houston, last was with Seattle, of course. He plays pretty much all positions. He's going to likely be Jace Peterson's replacement. I'll get onto him in a little bit. But his bat just hasn't showed up as well. And, this guy has so much potential, but so far we just haven't seen that. So maybe he ends up being a great steal for us. He has potential, but we don't know what will happen yet. And then speaking of which, obviously we needed our infield utility hitter, and we needed a guy to definitely replace some of the guys that had to leave. Unfortunately, Jace Peterson, the Brewers decided not to re-sign him. Oakland Athletics signed him to a 2-year deal. So good luck to you. Good luck to you, Jace Peterson. I thought you were a great contributor for this team. I will definitely miss you because I thought you were like one of my favorite players last year. So I think that's what's obviously important. So then a couple days ago, we knew one of the big things that the Brewers had to do in free agency this year was get a catcher. Because Caratini is a great defensive catcher, but the problem is he's not the most reliable. Omar Narvaez had a great all-star season last year, but kind of fell off and was just not that good this year. So I was thinking we need a catcher, I was thinking maybe Mike Zunino or something, but I was like, he's a lot older, but instead we decided to go for someone younger. As soon as I saw our name being involved in trades with Atlanta and Oakland or something, I'm like thinking, oh my goodness, are we getting Sean Murphy? But no, Sean Murphy's going to Atlanta, and I was like, oh, we might be getting Travis d'Arnaud, but no, we got actually William Contreras, who I actually, in my opinion, think it's a better move. Why? Because William Contreras is a way better hitter. He's going to develop into a better catcher. We have one of the best catcher coaches in the league. We had guys that Yasmani Grandal and Omar Narvaez and Manny Pena developed into stars and really developed into that position. Putting Contreras in that spot, I think it's going to make him better at that position. And great, he's a hitter too. I mean, he made the All-Star team last year. It sucked, he was really like Atlanta. And, that was unfortunate. Also from the Atlanta Braves, we got minor league reliever Justin Yeager. Has a lot of potential. I've seen some of videos that he throws pretty nasty balls. And also, of course, Oakland Athletics also was involved in the trade. So we got someone from them, Joel Payampas, someone that the Brewers have just been, a relief pitcher that the Brewers have been eyeing on for years. This is a guy that can be a huge contributor. I think is huge. In exchange for the 3 players, the Brewers had to send someone away. That was Estuary Ruiz, one of the outfielder prospects that we got in the Hader trade. And honestly, now I'm happy about it because we ended up getting him for this. So, it turned out good in the long run. In addition, Oakland sent Sean Murphy to Atlanta for catchers Manny Pena, former Brewer catcher Manny Pena, 3 pitching prospects for Fred Turner, Robert Sanlanas, and Kyle Muller. This is just really exciting. Contreras, if anybody doesn't know who he is, he turns 25, and we have him to 2027. We got this guy for a long time. I mean, dude's going to be with the Brewers for all his prime years, and he's going to turn into a great player. He hit 278 with 20 home runs and 45 runs batted in. He was obviously playing backup role and designated hitter. He made 89 starts at all, and 57 at catcher, 31 at designated hitter, and 1 in left field. Of course, and he was in the All-Star game. Of course, there's just a lot that you're really going to see, but honestly, it's exciting just to think about it. Contreras, of course, he is the younger brother of former Cubs and now St. Louis Cardinals catcher Wilson Contreras. And honestly, I'm super excited for the guys that we got from there. And then finally, today, or yesterday, I'm pretty sure most people will see this, the Brewers decided to make one more trade for anybody that doesn't know, a very familiar face from this city. Owen Miller, he's from Mequon. We traded, he started for Cleveland Guardians last year, and he pretty much also can be a guy that can play utility. He got him in exchange for a cash or a player to be named, or we don't know what it is. They had to designate Mario Feliciano for assignment so they can make room for him, but I'm so happy about this move. He's coming home. He was drafted out of the 3rd round in the 2018 MLB draft out of Illinois State, played for Cleveland in 2022. He went 243 with 6 homers, 51 RBIs, playing primarily first base for Cleveland, also plays second and third base. As a right-handed hitter, it's possible that the Brewers utilize him as a platoon for Rowdy Tellez at first, which would make Keston Hiura more expendable if the team wants to move on from him, because, of course, it's starting to look that way. As much as I love Keston Hiura, they're just not utilizing him correctly, and I think it's best if they just move on from him. There's just no reason to keep Keston Hiura around if they're not going to utilize him correctly. And honestly, we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, so that's that. Those are some great moves. In the meantime, I'm very excited to see what happens. So of course, I'm just going to sum up everything that the Brewers have done. The departures: second baseman Colton Wong, right fielder Hunter Renfroe, outfielder Estuary Ruiz, left-hand pitcher Brett Suter, and of course, this does not include Jace Peterson, Omar Narvaez, Andrew McCutchen, Brad Boxberger. Those guys are now free agents, so honestly, it didn't matter because some of those guys were signed or are still free agents. Our arrivals is, of course, the big name William Contreras, Jesse Winker, Abraham Toro, Joel Payampas, Javi Guerra, that's also another guy that we signed, Jansen Junk, Justin Yeager, Elvis Peguero, Adam Semamaris, and those are all the guys that we got in the trade, and then just recently, Owen Miller. So we got so many new players this season. We didn't get rid of many people, which is a great thing. And most of the guys, we didn't really have to spend much money. These big name guys, we got them in trades, and we're not even paying them anything. So right now, the Brewers, I think, are in a really good spot. So that's what I think is most important. So anyways, if you like, obviously, it'll be exciting to see how things go. Obviously, I'm not going to make a video. I might make another video if they make another move or something, but in my opinion, I think from what I've seen, I think the Brewers are done for free agency this season unless they want to try to sign someone before the season starts, maybe. That's possible. Anything can happen, but we'll see what happens. There is a lot of room to make and a lot of potential for people, and it's just an exciting time to be a Brewers fan. That's just how I feel. So if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and as always, go Brewers. We will see you next time.